Welcome everyone to the December 15th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of School Directors. This meeting is also available via Zoom webinar, live stream, and is being video recorded with sound for public broadcast. All participants joining via the webinar who wish to comment will need to use the chat feature, which will be enabled during the audience recognition period of the meeting. If you are attending this meeting in person, you should be aware that attendees could be recording this meeting from their seat or anywhere else in the room, because this is permitted by the Sunshine Act, which means any remarks that you make at the podium or anywhere in the room can be recorded and made public. This is a typical regular business board meeting of the board. These meetings are monthly, and this is where the board does business. I know that sounds really dumb to repeat that, but I'm going to say it again because it is very, very formulaic, and it's a business meeting where we take votes on options and big ideas at the table. Which means any remarks that you make anywhere in the room can be recorded and public. This is a regular business board meeting. The board meetings are monthly, and
difficulties this evening with Zoom. I apologize. And the way we have to do it,
that's really dumb to repeat. I'm going to say it again because it is very, very formulaic, and it's a business meeting where we take votes on options and ideas at the table.
So I wouldn't say anything more for a couple seconds if you don't mind, and if everybody could please be patient. We can hopefully fix this quickly, and there will be no timer up during the public comment, so you're just going to have to, we'll have Ken or someone else do the 10 minutes, Vic, so that we can then announce that it's over. I'm sorry for the problems.
And if this does not work, I plan to mime the entire meeting. Feel free to talk amongst yourself while we wait for the tech to be worked out.
Okay, if you are joining us via the webinar, we're going to have to shut the webinar down. You can follow the meeting through live stream. That connection is on the calendar. It's in board docs. And it's also going to be on the page pop in about a second. And then if you have any questions that you would like to submit this evening, please send them through community comments at lmsb251215, and Ms. Buckman will share them at the meeting. Thank you.
I don't have to start from the top, or should I?
I think because it was a little confusing.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for all bearing with us and for the repeat that's going to happen, but I promise I'll keep it short and focused because this is a little bit of a longer update. Would you like us to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, or do you? No. Okay, great. Welcome to the December 15th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of School Directors. This meeting is also available, not Zoom webinar, but it is being live streamed and being recorded by video for sound for public broadcast. All participants joining via the live stream and everyone in the room, please be sure to use community comments if you have questions, if you're watching at home, and if you're in the room, please ensure that you sign up. If you would like to make a comment, sign up with Denise LePere up here so you can make a comment towards the end of the meeting. I'm ad-libbing this, so we're gonna go along as we go. As we discussed, the Sunshine Act allows for the recording of all of this great work of the government that we're doing right now. But it also means that not only what the board says and what it says at the podium is also recorded, but anything in the room whatsoever. So that means somebody in the room under the Sunshine Act is able to record your comments in the room. So just be aware, because those comments can then be broadcast out of this room. This is a regular meeting of the board. It's our monthly business meeting where the board votes on district matters, which include curriculum, policy, personnel, facilities, budget, and other official actions. It takes a more official tone, and we save community comments towards the end before any official vote, but with also a 3-minute window. These meetings always follow a public agenda and include reports from committees and administration and are conducted under the requirements of that Pennsylvania Sunshine Act. Please know that we know as a board that we value, we know as a board that we value all of your comments through community comments, through committee meetings, and through this board meeting. We believe that it's the best interest of the residents, the taxpayers, and most importantly, our students to hear from the community. It strengthens our work and helps us ensure that our decisions are support the students and families we serve. We also expect and respect that everybody will stay in a respectful environment. The board is committed to upholding each individual's First Amendment right to free expression during the public comment. At the same time, the Pennsylvania law, specifically 18 PA CSA 5101 and 5508, prohibits intentional disruption of public meetings. Our goal is to ensure that all participants are able to speak and be heard in a safe and lawful and orderly setting. Thank you so much for the cooperation. Thank you so much for showing up and your engagement in the work that we do for our students, with our staff, and for our schools. Now let's dive into a couple things that we're changing. Since this is this December board meeting, we're gonna make a lot of changes that move forward in January, and I wanna give you a little bit of a preview before we dive into them. Number one, in January, and we'll have a public vote on this in January, but in January, what we are planning to do is change the business board meeting community comments just slightly. One, that we ensure that it's very important for us to go through the business and the vote that's on the board table and to hear public comment from the community before that vote is taken. It is really, in so many ways, can be a last step for the community to share before a vote is taken. But there's also other community comments that need and want to happen at board meetings. So what we're proposing for January to move forward is to separate two community comments. The first one will be a public community comment on board agenda items only. That is what we will hear prior to taking the vote. And then if there are additional community comments that are not associated with a direct community board agenda that is publicly published, we will save them towards the end of the meeting. Those two periods will give us a distinction and also keep us focused on the work of the business meeting, but also give an opportunity for the community to say other comments that might be something they need to bring to the board's table that might come back in a future meeting. All these are really helpful. Remember, at the business board meeting, it is 3 minutes. Yes, you have a First Amendment right, but that doesn't mean it's not limited. So we'll keep that moving. The other two things that we're going to add next year that we heard from the community loud and clear. Number one, I'm really excited about this. We're gonna bring back coffee and conversation. I love the conversation, but I also love the coffee. These were meetings with the board in the community that we offered about 2 years ago. It helped us get through school start times, full day K, and a lot of other big topics that were in the community. It gave an opportunity for community members to ask questions in small groups. This board is really excited about engaging in this work again. We will be working on setting that up, but I wanted to give a little bit of preview of what next year has to come. And then the other topic that we're gonna bring up next year is a more formal community conversations meeting at the board, in the boardroom with administration. These are going to be conversation topics that we as a board leadership and schools leadership believe that we need to come to the table and have a more open dialogue around and gain more information and share more information. We know both in the business board meeting, it is very tight and very formal. We know that in the committee meetings, the committee meeting questions and framing are also quite short. When we move into January, the committee meetings will have a public comment window on agenda items of 5 minutes. So you'll be able to talk a little bit longer, but they're still shorter. And then after the agenda meeting and comments are over, the second comment time will be for any topics on that committee theme. So there's a lot of changes going on. I promise we'll talk about this over and over again, and we'll share it out in a lot of different ways so we can answer questions. But we hope that this engagement level will give our opportunity to learn, hear, and engage with each other in a healthy way moving forward. And we're really excited about hearing from you more and learning from you more, and vice versa. Frank, I know that's a lot. Anything you want to add to that?
No, so we try to have different types of structures with different types of meetings, and with that meeting that Dr. Saltner just described, right, there's no real way to have conversation here where there's back and forth questions and things like that. In the committee meetings, they're really tied down to what committee topics are or what the committee is all about. So these conversations are allow, for back and forth discussion about why we make decisions, what's on your mind, things like that. So getting the community involved is really important to us. Doing it the right way is really important also, so we get the most out of it and don't waste your time as well.
Excuse me, there's still an issue with the live feed. We're still having a slight issue with the live feed in the live stream. I don't know that we're going to be able to correct it, but we are recording the meeting. So they're working on it. But.
I'm trying to get them to get off of the Zoom. Yeah, it's not working well, so, yeah.
This will be different in 2026, hopefully. Thank you so much. Appreciate you all. And for people watching this in the future, we apologize for the technical difficulties. Okay, another item that I want to bring up before we dive into the work of this business meeting is addressing the big topic that's on the community conversation table right now around the merging of the football teams. There were a few emails sent to the board asking the board to put this on an agenda item. And what I wanted to share with the community and to address that, quite frankly, directly, is that the district team and the board, meaning the school team, the administrative team, or Dr. Ranelli, and the board, we always, and I know this is well known by everybody, but I still feel appropriate to say it, we must act within the best interest of the students and the community. And we know to do that work, we need proper data, proper information, and to truly understand and to allow our new superintendent to truly understand the culture of belonging and the implications that we have at every decision at hand. The superintendent has made, Dr. Ranelli has made his best recommendation for the time being on this district, and that is to not merge the teams. Given the alignment that we have, the transitions of the board, and the timing of the requirements of the PIAA, the majority of this board supports him in moving that decision forward. Now, I want to address this power of this community and the sharing of it. We had amazing parents speak to us. I've had amazing emails from community members and from parents, from alumni and students, asking so many smart questions, so many thoughtful reasonings behind it, which I have to be honest, just inflamed my idea of thinking of different scenarios. We also had students sharing and parents sharing at the podium that this topic was so, and this idea of sports and after-school programs is so unbelievably relevant for something that matters so much to our district and the values of our district, of not just sports, of not just after-school programs, but truly inclusive belonging. I want to nod to CSE, Committee of Special Education. This is something that the CSE community has been bringing to the table for a year to ensure that our inclusion of our students, our belonging of our students, is a 365-day operation, day and night, and that really matters. So I want to address and be grateful to all of the parents and the students that have brought this to our attention and the alumni, but also move forward with that is also the weight that we need to understand fully, to understand the culture and the impact of any of these changes. We look forward to continuing this conversation with our students, with our school teams, and with the larger community. We know this will take time, but over the next 18 months, because of the PIAA cycle, we will ensure that that work is done and moves us forward to ensure that no student is lost from this power of this inclusive practice and the power that we know that sports and after-school programs have for not just the happiness of our kids while they're in school, but for the great ability for our kids to do so much more when they've moved on, hopefully stay in our community, but they moved on to college, careers, and life of their own. So I want to thank you very much for that. The work is not done, but we will engage in this research and in this work to make the best choice forward. Thank you. Now I'd like to proceed with the agenda. Dr. Ranelli, do you have anything to add there?
No, not on that topic.
Thank you. And I'm very grateful that I completely turn it over to Dr. Ranelli at this point.
Thank you. To start my report, I would like to ask the ISC to come up and give their monthly update, and we do appreciate their partnership.
Thank you, Dr. Ranelli. Good evening. My name is Robin Gowrie, and together with Cami Pulsifer, I'm the co-president of the LMSD Interschool Council, or the ISC. As the umbrella organization of the 11 HSAs of our school district, we hold monthly events, and we want to invite the parents and guardians in our district to attend. Tomorrow, Tuesday, December 16th, we will host a roundtable conversation with guest Robert Swartz. He's the LMSD Supervisor of Curriculum and Instruction for K through 12 math. This event will be held in person and on Zoom at the District Administration Office. Join us for coffee at 9:15, and the program will begin at 9:30. On Wednesday, January 7th, the Parent Education Program, featuring a panel of former high school graduates from Lower Merion and Harriton High Schools, will be talking about their transition to post-secondary school life. This is a great listen for parents and students alike, especially high school families. In addition, our January roundtable will be held on January 20th, and our guests will be Mo Hossein, LMSD Director of Nutritional Services, and Kendall Stokes, Assistant Director of Nutritional Services. On December 2nd, members of the ISC, CSE, EFLM met with 6 LMSD administrators to review 32 mini grant applications for the school year. We selected 18 grants totaling $13,047 and appreciate the board's vote to approve the awards today. The ISC agreed to fund 2 additional grants conditionally upon information from the applicants and approval from building administrators. Alternate funding through LMSD was secured for 10 applicants, bringing the total number of funded projects to 28, with 2 pending. The ISC is grateful to the 11 HSAs, the Education Foundation, and the Committee for Special Education for funding this special program. We invite you to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more details and the latest information about our events. If you would like to see any of our past roundtables or parent education, you will find them at the LMSD Interschool Council YouTube page. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. We appreciate the partnership, and just want to let you know the amount of work that was put in on the mini grants was amazing. We really appreciate it, and just for teachers to have innovative ideas and for them to come to fruition is fantastic. So thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Mr. Perry, you okay?
Good. Are you coming up here?
In a second, yeah.
Okay, I'll wait
All
for
right, just
you.
want to make sure
Yep,
we're okay.
I'll wait for you.
A couple other things before I get to a short presentation. First, we want to send our condolences to the Gladwin Elementary School community and the family and friends of longtime physical education teacher Julie Booker, who passed away last week. She worked for the district for more than 25 years until her retirement at the beginning of the school year due to her health. She cared deeply about her students and had a positive impact on all who were fortunate enough to have known her. Congratulations to the Lower Merion High School boys cross-country team. They competed at nationals last week, which is a great accomplishment in itself. But further accolades go to Nick Mazzio, who won the meet, earning the title of national champion and All-American, making him the only person from LM, the Central League, and District 1 to be named cross-country national champ. Great job, Nick. We're very proud of you. Yep. Congratulations also goes to Harriton's Ethan Sue, who was recognized as a 2026 Young Arts Award winner with distinction in classical music/composition. He's one of just 170 winners selected for more than 13,000 applications, who have been invited to travel to Florida next month for National Young Arts Week. He's also eligible to be nominated as a U.S. Presidential Scholar in the Arts. Congratulations, Ethan. All right, so we'll do a short presentation about the school start data that we had. The red button?
Oh, it's microphone.
Thank you. Good?
Yep, it's all up. You're just gonna.
Thank you. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about our Smart Time Start changes. district does a lot of research. People put a lot of time and effort into making decisions that ultimately we hope will affect students in a positive way. And I wanted to at least give initial data, and it's not very deep, and I'll explain why in a second, because this takes a very long time to really understand the impact of students. But I wanted to make sure that we at least touched on and looked at, as a district, as an administration, as a board, the data that is solid, the data that can be directly correlated, maybe not, right, to start times and what we might be seeing. So let's see if we can get this done. Okay, so I looked at really reports that had to do with tardiness, that had to do with absentees and grades. And I also correlated some start time surveys from students and teachers from before the start time started and after it began. So if you could see the tardy reports, you go all the way to the right and you see the differences. Those are all plus differences. And I attribute that to students and parents really trying to get around the new times and the new cultures and things like that. Can we make a direct correlation to school start times because of that difference in tardiness? Not really, but it's something that we should at least look at. Absences, same thing, right? If you look at the differences all the way to the right, those are all plus differences. All right, so before the change, after the change, and then the difference. Right. And again, the numbers are large, but again, I don't know if there's correlation between school start time and full day absences. Okay, I put the number of students in the data report in the next 5 slides that follow. I didn't add it to the beginning because those specific students could have had multiple absences and multiple tardies, and obviously they did. The next 5 slides are about grades. All these students had a finite number of grades, so that's why I put the number of students before the start time change and after. So at the end of the school year, at the 23-24, you see the school, you see how many kids, and you see the difference. And you'll see those differences on each slide as well. So basically I wanted to know how many more A's, how many more A minuses, how many more B's, and if we could see some kind of pattern or information that correlates to that. Here is Bala-Cynwyd, and the minus 36 is there's 36 less students from one year to the next, as indicated on the previous slide. It's great to see those negative numbers at the bottom. Those numbers are, if you look at the actual numbers of students, they're so low that even one would skew that in a big way. So what the next slides tell me is we really don't know if this had any correlation. All right. BlackRock had 29 more students. And again, you see higher numbers at the bottom, but they're very low, higher percentage at the bottom, but they're very low numbers. And we're pleased to see that, again, we're in the 1,000 range for the number of A's and the 500 range for the number of B's and so on. Welsh Valley, they had 41 less students. And again, the percent differences are all in line with what they were before in the other schools. The biggest number there is that 29% less of B minuses, but we didn't indicate where those B minuses went, either up or down. Okay, Harrington High School, 44 more students, almost spot on to where they were the year before. Lower Merion High School, 139 less students. So that means there were approximately 1,000 less grades that were correlated in this chart. So again, we don't know what those grades were to begin with to the second one. So this is a harder one to determine because there's so many less kids. And again, if you multiplied those kids by the number of grades they get at the end of the year, you get about 1,000 grades, a little bit more. Again, nice to see the bottom numbers are going down. So the next couple slides are just anecdotal data based on self-reporting statistics or feelings, really. Okay, students answered key survey questions before the survey and after the survey. How big a problem is daytime sleepiness? That question, all 4 categories are almost exactly the same. Big problem, moderate problem, little problem, no problem. Student question again, in general, do you feel you get too much sleep, not enough, or enough sleep, or too little? Almost exactly the same. Staff survey. So 669 staff members reported on the survey after the change, and the following were neutral areas, so they felt they had no change. In alertness, 45% felt there was no change in alertness. Overall attendance, 60% thought there was no change in that, but the 3 slides before would say a little bit different. Morning attendance, afternoon attendance, that's a big deal as far as the different change in times, whether it be for high school students who have to leave for sports, things like that. And the morning attendance for the middle school now who has to get up a lot earlier. Academic performance, behavior, overall well-being. So again, they're all very neutral, so we can't really draw direct correlations to that. Observations by elementary staff. These would all be what you would expect. An increased commute time, especially in the afternoons. Young learners are tired in the afternoon. And hard to schedule appointments for themselves, either to coach or to work after school. Middle school teachers love it. For the most part, right? They get out a little earlier. Better afternoon attendance, works well for their families. It's harder to find early morning childcare, though, for some that have to get childcare before that. And some students are very tired in the morning, and it's mixed on the afternoon activity participation. And observations by high school staff. Less of a rush in the morning, but trying to get out of here at 3:30 is really tough on Montgomery Avenue here. They're missing family activities. Many teachers were comment that it's very difficult to get home for dinner. Maybe my son or daughter has a game I'd like to go to. It's harder for them to get there. Child care costs. Staff and students seem more alert because of the time change, because it's later in the day. And students are missing more classes in the afternoon. So that is the last slide of the presentation. And again, I'll stress that we won't know if the start times had an impact on wellness, right? Overall student wellness, which would include academics, would include participation. It includes mental health, would include a lot of those things, relationship with friends and families, things like that, for approximately 5 years. It wouldn't be right for me to make any correlation to that kind of thing after 1 year. We collected this data at the end of last year. So it's important for us to keep that in mind, but I wanted to make sure that the board, the community knows we track all this information. We really want to make sure if we saw any outliers or any themes that we saw across the buildings, we would address. Conversations with our administrators, anecdotally, really, again, you saw the differences up there, and they're not very vast as of yet. So some longitudinal information will be really good for us to have before we can make any correlation to school start times and overall student wellness, whether that means academics or all those other things I mentioned.
Thank
I have
you.
one more thing, and I'll take questions before I do that. So, questions from the board, anybody?
Any questions from the board on the presentation? Nope, we're good. Thank you very much.
All right,
think
I have
it's
one last thing.
important to track every
sorry.
year.
Yeah, so I just wanted to wish everyone a nice winter break and happy holidays for those who celebrate. One really important comment for me, I try to make this in every situation that I can. For many people, the holidays or the winter time or the break isn't a great time. So please keep the less fortunate and people who struggle with some life situations in mind. Really important for us to do that and to not take for granted our position in life. It's really important to help as many people as we can. So that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, and reminding us what the point of the holidays are as well. And now for our students. So BJ and Eden, we'd love to hear reports from your schools. Give us the rundown.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the 2-hour delay this morning. Let's go over some of the things that are going on at Harriton. Harriton's winter workshop opened today. It gives students a chance to make personalized gifts for friends, family, or even for themselves. You can create things like friendship bracelets, mini paintings, and even 3D printed ornaments. The workshop will be open from today through this Friday. Last Thursday, December 11th, Lower Merion and Harriton faced off in an exciting swim meet. It was a close match, and Harriton's boys pulled off a win for the second year in a row, decided in the final 400 freestyle relay. Harriton's boys basketball team also had a great night last Tuesday, December 9th, beating Radnor in a close game of 48-46. Overall, Harriton's winter sports are off to a strong start. This Thursday during Lunch and Learn, Harriton is hosting the Corinthian event in the LGI. All students are welcome to perform. You can do anything from poetry to skits, or either solo or with a group. There will be free hot chocolate and exclusive open mic stickers for $2. All the money raised will help publish student work at the end of the school year. Saturday before last, December 6th, Harriton hosted the Dr. Harriton 5K on the school track. All the money raised supports Dr. Harriton, our annual school-wide talent show that has raised thousands of dollars for charity since 2007. Funds will go toward Jerseys for Kids, the Lower Merion Township Scholarship Fund, and Cradles to Crowns. The race featured a flat course, free refreshments, and prizes including free Dr. Harriton tickets for the top 3 runners. On December 4th, Harriton's IB students took a trip to New York City. They visited the Tenement Museum to learn about housing in the 19th and 20th centuries, then chose between workshop on stage, combat, or theater costumes. After dinner, the group watched the Outsiders musical. Overall, it was a fun trip that combined learning the arts and time together. That's all from Harriton for this month. Thanks for listening and have a happy holidays.
Thank you, BJ. Round of applause for BJ. Eden, all you.
Last month, you heard from my twin sister. Tonight, you get the funnier twin, but please don't tell her I said that. Or do. It keeps things interesting at home. As you know, Shyla and I alternate this report like a well-trained tag team, highly coordinated, even if occasionally competitive. And on the subject of teams, let's start with sports. In November, 18 of our student athletes made their college dreams official by signing national letters of intent. This is a huge milestone, proof that ambition and commitment really do pay off. Congratulations to all 18 signees. From Brandeis to Worcester, from crew to volleyball, our aces are heading off to represent LM with pride. We're so excited to watch you shine in college, and when you're winning championships, we expect photos, updates, and maybe a free sweatshirt. Now that our future college stars are all set, let's shift gears to the athletes who are currently freezing in the LM gyms and fields. Winter sports are officially underway. On December 2nd, Student Council hosted the 21st Annual Maroon Madness, officially launching winter sports with food, fun, and a whole lot of school spirit. We had pizza, a barbecue food truck, milkshakes, and more. Basically a menu that guaranteed no one went home hungry or able to run fast afterward. Students lined up for raffles, featuring everything from parking passes to signed Eagles memorabilia, and enjoyed mini golf, a photo booth, and the iconic Maroon Madness t-shirt. There were high-energy on-court performances by the dance team, cheer, and the basketball teams. In short, winter sports season has arrived in style, very on brand for the main line. My sources report that the Aces boys basketball team is fired up for the new season, and they're not easing into it. As always, LM is taking on some of the region's toughest opponents because apparently we don't believe in starting slow. They've already split games with 2 Chester-Montgomery powerhouses, Coatesville and Downingtown West, proving they're ready for a challenge. Over winter break, the team will head to State College to face 2 strong out-of-area opponents, because nothing says vacation like playing a high-level basketball several hours from home. After New Year's, the Aces will hit the road again, traveling twice to the Lehigh Valley to take on Bethlehem Liberty and the defending District 11 champion, Northampton. Buckle up, it's going to be an exciting ride. The wrestling team has started the season with real force. At the Rough Rider tournament, the Aces collected 5 top finishes, an early sign that this group means business. Momentum is rolling across the roster, with multiple wrestlers putting together strong winning records. If the start of the season is any indication, this team is ready to dominate on the mat all winter long. After all that athletic action, let's shift to students who are flexing a different set of muscles, the global citizenship class, who may not rack up points on a scoreboard but are absolutely scoring big in impact. Students in LM's global citizenship class teamed up with the TGR Foundation at Cobbs Creek to make Thanksgiving a little brighter for local families. Together, they raised $1,550 and donated hundreds of holiday food items, enough to support 129 families across West Philly. At the distribution event, families filled tote bags with 16 different items, while turkeys were delivered right to their doors. Every bag was topped with a handmade card from LM students because kindness is the best side dish. As part of their experiential learning, Global Citizenship students also visited Cradles to Crayons Giving Factory. They spent the day sorting donations, folding clothes, and performing quality checks with admirable focus. Along the way, they gained hands-on insight into childhood poverty and, just as important, a much clearer understanding of why their parents always look tired on laundry day. After celebrating students who are making their voices heard in the community, let's talk about students making their voices heard. With voices powerful enough to stop traffic on Montgomery Avenue, arguably the bravest place to drive in the district, so that's quite an accomplishment. 5 LM students earned spots in the prestigious PMEA District 11 Choral Ensemble, meaning our aces can literally hit the high notes. Selected from hundreds of singers across Buck and Montgomery counties, these vocal powerhouses will represent LM at the District 11 Choral Festival later this year. And speaking of music, the second fall concert is Wednesday, December 17th. Show up, it's a rare chance to sit down and be entertained without opening Power School. And that's your LM update, powered by Aces Pride and twins who don't always agree, but absolutely agree on this. Winter break can't come soon enough, and happy holidays.
Thank you both so much. Really helpful updates, and we appreciate the amazing delivery as well. So thank you. And back to Dr. Rinelli for a comment.
Yeah, I just have one more comment. I received many emails over the past 30 days asking for the board to begin the process of putting lights on Arnold Field. First, I want to thank you for all reaching out to me. I think it's really, really great. Second, the process for the ability to build this field started and ended, right? Just to have the ability, started and ended before most people were at this table. So what we're going to do is make sure that we have all of the information, do the correct research, obviously with our solicitors and things like that, inform the board, and we'll be able to have a discussion about this in February, most likely, because with the holidays here, January will be pushing it to make sure that everybody has the correct information. So just wanted to make sure I thanked everybody. I know there was a lot of emails that I got. If anybody's here tonight, please know that leave and you can go away with that information. So thank you.
Thank you very much. A lot of updates tonight, and two committees that happened this much. Thank you, students, very much, and have a good break. So first up is the December 5th Policy Committee meeting. Juanita, the new co-chair, will deliver it. And Juanita would just let us know who's on the committee with you, because we are, with the new board members, we've changed committees around. So just let us know who's on the committee with you, and then an update. Thank you. And welcome to your first time on the mic.
Yeah, thank you. So we have Todd Rickey, Anna Sharek, myself, and Abby. Was it?
Sarah Thomas, I'm not a current.
I'm sorry, Sarah. Was it Sarah?
No, Jason.
Jason, okay. Forgive me. So at the December 5th meeting, Anna opened the policy meeting and talked about the purpose of that committee, that we would be reviewing all policies in the order in which they are listed. Those that have recently been reviewed will likely not be revisited, and some that need to be prioritized will be moved up in the review. We will take some time to consolidate policies, draw attention outside of cycle if needed. Policy 125, that's in regards to the summer programs, in alignment with the curriculum meeting, was proposed for the final adoption and moved forward to our meeting tonight to vote on as a full board. We then took a look at the administration regulation, which, as a reminder, technically do not need to be approved by the board. We asked that additional attention be given to the reciprocal and request process for partner schooling assignment to make the process for families to request going back to homeschool after initial placement due to partner school more clear. A few revisions were reviewed in policy 002, school board organization. Basically, the shifts were anchored in less procedures for a temporary president in order to create a more smooth process for elections and et cetera going forward. And that concludes.
Thank you. Excellent job. Can we please give her a big round of applause for the first time? It's so nerve-wracking up here. I'm not gonna lie. Even I've been here 4 years and I'm still nervous every single time. And just so you know, on the screen right now, because we're changing committees around to make sure every committee is equally supported by people with the best experience as the co-chair and sometimes with new people as the secondary co-chair. The listing of all the members of each committee is up there. We're really excited about this, and we'll talk a little bit about the end about how we're changing some times to make them more accessible. But without further ado, the fascinating and always entertaining Facilities and Purchasing Committee update, Jason.
Fascinating and interesting. Sure.
We are fascinating and interesting. Everybody should come to the Facilities and Purchasing Committee meeting. You will learn so much about how to pay your bills and how to hire school bus drivers.
So first and foremost, I want to thank, before we go into this, the Facilities and Operations team for making sure that our school opened safely for the students after the snow this weekend. I know that wasn't easy, but that was a huge effort. So at our meeting, we welcomed our new committee members. So Abby and Jen and Shana and I are the returning committee members.
I think it's just, yes, we're here forever. We love it. Facilities forever.
We discussed our list of bills. We went through the district contracts. We discussed the renewal for the TransFinder software, which allows for the administration and parents to monitor the busing system. We talked about a staffing agreement for a transportation consultant, and then the Presidio renewal, which focuses on data security and the maintenance of our security system, IT-wise. And our next meeting is scheduled in January. And as a committee, we want to wish everyone a wonderful holiday and a happy and healthy new year. And we look forward to seeing everyone in the new year.
Thank you very much. Excellent job. And now we are moving on to the audience recognition portion of the agenda. At this time, we will hear public comment. If you would like to speak at tonight's meeting and have not signed up with Ms. LaPere, please do so now as she walks towards the clipboard. I'm going to cut the part about the webinar since that is not working tonight. And that is it.
If they're on the live stream and they want to email community comments at lmsd.org.
Great.
We can get
I was
them
still
that
under
way.
the impression the live stream was not working effectively.
It's jumpy.
It's
but-
glitchy, so I don't know how much they're hearing. So,
Great.
Yeah.
Sorry. So please feel free to email community comments, and Ms. Buckman will read them towards the end. Ms. LaPere?
Okay, thank you. We have Brett Ferber, Joe Arnold, and then Jonathan Fishbein. Yes, please
hi.
come up to the podium. You have to state your name and where you reside within the district.
Sure.
And you
Hi,
have
good
3
evening.
minutes, just so you're warning, because she'll give you the time out.
Great, thanks so much. Good evening, School Board, Superintendent Rinelli, and members of the community. My name is Brett Ferber. I'm from Marion. I speak to you tonight as a proud graduate of Lower Marion High School with 4 children in Lower Marion schools who will attend Lower Marion High School in the near future. My children will be 4th-generation Lower Marion graduates, with my family starting with my grandfather, who graduated from Lower Marion High School in 1938. This district is just not where my kids go to school. It's part of my family history and identity. And I'm here tonight for a simple reason. It's time to move forward with what Dr. Rinelli just spoke about, athletic fields at Arnold Field with lights. This issue has been thoroughly vetted by the school board. It's been litigated. The claims have been resolved. The plan exists. I've seen the blueprint. What remains is not debatable. There's no delay, but we need leadership and action. Lower Marion prides itself rightly on being one of the best school districts in Pennsylvania. We expect excellence academically, artistically, and athletically. But today there is a glaring inconsistency. We are the only school in the Central League without lights. And it matters to these student athletes who compete at a disadvantage. It matters to our marching band, our cheerleaders, our extracurricular programs. It matters to families juggling work schedules, transportation, and community engagement. and it matters to school spirit, something Lower Merion has always had deeply in the past, but candidly is somewhat lacking today. Lights are not a luxury. They are a modern baseline feature of a comprehensive high school athletic program. They allow flexibility, safety, equity, and inclusion. They allowed students to compete at home rather than being displaced to Harriton, their rival high school, for an alleged home game. Most importantly, they allowed a community to come together in a way that builds pride and connection. The issue is no longer a question of whether this project should go forward, but it's a question of when. When will this stadium be built? Delaying further sends the wrong message to students and families who have followed this process in good faith. This school district has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on legal fees, getting Judge Carluccio to approve it, the township to approve it, the school board to approve it, and the neighbors to approve it. My parents went to this high school in the 60s. They dealt with this issue. It's done. It's been litigated. We won. We need to move forward. Lower Merion has always led. We do not follow. We set standards. We don't let others show us the way. And right now, leadership means saying this process is complete and the path is clear. I have a petition signed by over 500 taxpayers, some of which sent the emails to Dr. Rinelli. 500 people in this township signed this petition, and more will, that want this school board to move forward with this project. I ask you to please do so. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service and attention to this matter.
Thank you.
Joe Arnold, Jonathan Fishbein, and then Chris, I think it's McLeod, but I'm not quite sure. It's scribbly.
Is it okay if I just follow on Brett? Yep, Joe Arnold from Marion Station, no relationship to General Arnold and Arnold Field. I get asked that question pretty much every single soccer game that I attend. So to follow on what Brett said, first of all, thank you for your service. This is my first school board meeting speaking, so it's actually fun for me to be here and see all the hard work that you all put in for the district, so thank you very much. And just to kind of follow on some of Brett's comments, I think these are things that probably don't need to be said, that everyone already knows. But really, from having a junior at Lower Merion, having gone to soccer games for 3 years, having a daughter who will be going to Lower Merion, it's hard for me to go to that stadium and watch my son's team play in front of the 30 parents that can make it. That's pretty much it, right? And that's frankly because we have no lights, so all students, all of our student athletes are playing at the exact same time. So they can't support each other. Girls soccer team's away, the boys are home. JV is playing at the same time as varsity on the grass fields. So there's not, so the whole notion of students supporting students is severely limited. And those tend to be the ones that love to watch each other and cheer each other on. The community has trouble getting to the games when they're during the day, right? Most of our games kick off 3:45 or 4 o'clock. Everyone's working, right? Or if anyone wants to try to find a place to park at Lower Merion High School to get to the stadium, good luck, right? We just talked about congestion at 3:30, and we all know that there's very limited parking in front of the school for those games. Our students want to play in front of their classmates. They want to play in front of their families. They want to play in front of the community. Our student athletes have to get dismissed from school early for home games. With our later start, right, that's something that we have to take into consideration. We talked about, we saw some data about the afternoon, about students missing classes in the afternoon. It's really, really a struggle for these kids to get to a 3:45 game with the way that school ends. When you think about what happens, particularly with district playoffs, the boys and the girls are both good enough to play at home at the same time. The boys had to play at 1 o'clock on a school day. So think about the class time that they're missing for that. It's entirely avoidable. An additional turf field will decrease weather-related cancellations of practices and games. Our freshmen and JV teams are usually the ones that suffer from that. So giving them access to play, right, both in the fall and in the spring. I know we have some athletes who play in the spring here. Night games, as we talked about, foster better school spirit. They allow athletes to support athletes. Fundraising, another key point. If we could have one game a year at night against Harriton every other year where we could sell tickets the way Harriton does when we play there, we would be able to fulfill our entire fundraising quota. Instead, you have parents selling candy bars for $1.50 a piece in front of no crowd to try and raise money for the team. Again, we talked about almost I've been to every single stadium in the Central League, and the only thing I could think about is I can't believe that we don't have lights at Lower Merion. So I please urge you to move forward with this as quickly as you can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jonathan?
Good evening.
Oh, great.
I'm Jonathan Fishbein. I live in Gladwin, and I'm a parent of a Harridan football player. And so, yes, indeed, I'm going to talk about football. I was stunned to hear the superintendent's decision to reject the petition to merge the football programs of our two high schools, citing the reasons of tradition, history, pride, and culture. In defense of your position, I never once heard the word safety. It's not about those other things. It's not about lights. It's not about inclusivity. It's about the safety of our players. Safety takes precedent over wins, losses, and playoffs. Our teams suffer from very low participation that's so extreme that many players, the subset that are experienced ones, have to play on both sides of the ball. That's 40, 50, 60 snaps a game, which is punishing and damaging to a young man's body. I watched 9 Central League games this season. Harridan had 4 to 5 on-field injuries to every one of our competitors. Numerous players had season-ending knee and leg injuries. I'm wondering, in your decision, Dr. Rinelli, did you ever speak with the trainers? I guess not. Their opinions would have been informative. Instead, you gave weight to the alumni concerns for tradition, which bear no importance to this issue. They're totally irrelevant. My understanding is that conditions in the Lower Merion football program as well are only slightly better than Harridan's. They had a depleted roster as well, and their players had to play both sides of the ball. And yes, they too were overmatched by the competition in the Central League. So we have 2 high schools in this district that literally team with good athletes. So why is football so unpopular that we have inadequate participation? Perhaps it's a lack of tradition and pride from years of losing very badly to Central League opponents. I ask, have any of you been attending Lower Merion football games? I see a show of hands. I guess that's lack of pride. At Harridan, our first quarters typically end with our school 3 to 5 touchdowns behind. If you had attended those games, you would have found our performances to be embarrassing. It's frustrating to the fans, the student body, the parents, but most importantly, discouraging to the players. They play football seeking a meaningful and competitive experience, and your rejection of our petition will deny that. Shorthanded rosters create a far greater risk of injury to players. Players ask themselves, why should I take the chance of getting injured in a futile effort that might result in jeopardizing my participation in the upcoming seasons of lacrosse or wrestling? For the same reason, many skilled athletes who could potentially join the football team don't. And the talented players in the district, they transfer to the private schools. So maybe the problem is more severe at Harridan than at LM, but we have considerable similar issues. However, we are one district, and we parents and citizens of the township feel the 2 schools should
Thank
help
you.
one another.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Okay. I'll send the rest of my comments out.
Chris McLeod, then Chris Mandarino, and Kara Herman, and then Rob Zellinger.
I'm Chris McLeod from Narberth. This is my 3rd time speaking. Hello, LMSD board. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. This is my 3rd time speaking about the co-op high school football teams. I was surprised by last month's unilateral decision on this topic. I strongly encourage Dr. Sautner to put the high school co-op merger to a vote tonight. Since last meeting, we've been able to dig into the survey results from the data we received. 73% of students responded that a merged program was acceptable, and 66% of the students felt the merged program would give more students a chance to play football. The parent survey results were even more supportive of a co-op team. It feels like a majority of students and a very clear majority of parents favor the merger, yet the decision made last month did not seem to align with the survey results, which supports our decision to put this issue to a vote this evening. I feel the way the survey was written, some comments from the district staff on social media, and the interpretation of the results all appear to have an element of bias. So we ask that this topic be considered objectively. I have an example of why I'm so passionate about this. Guys, stand up, please. What we have here is a true example of how, without a merged program, these rising freshmen in the front, the two McConnell brothers, would be forced to play varsity next year. Sorry, I lost my spot. And being tackled by Matai in the back, who's not even one of the larger linemen in the Central League, but one of the largest that we have in our school district. So we talk about these kids, but most Central League schools have bigger rosters and larger senior classes. Let's vote to boost our collective football community with safer and better developed programs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chris Mandarino, then Kara Herman, Rob Zellinger, and then Missy Pennington.
Hi, my name is Chris Mandarino. I live in Wynwood, but grew up in Ballackinwood. I'm the head coach of Lower Merion's lacrosse team. And I agree with everything that Brett Ferber had said. We were teammates in high school, and our parents all of them graduated in the 60s, and they all didn't have lights. But a bigger issue is when we first start practice in the spring, both the boys team and the girls team have to split the field, because obviously the sundown's around 6 o'clock. And then even when when daylight savings time comes back, we are now practicing. Boys basically get on around 4 o'clock to 5, and then we split the field with the girls, and the girls are on from 5:30 to 7 on the other half. So basically we get an hour by ourselves and then split the time. Unfortunately, lacrosse is a full field sport. So we can't even work on clears, we can't work on, riding, full field things. And then our JV's stuck in the middle from the restraining line to midfield, all right? Not even to talk about the baseball and softball team are stuck in gyms because usually there's either snow on the ground or the fields are wet. I mean, I implore you to listen to all of these people that want the lights. I mean, every stadium we go to has lights. Look at, I'm sure you guys have driven past Radnor. They literally almost have a Division III stadium. Springfield Delco, same thing. That's all we're asking is for lights in Lower Merion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kara Herman from Ballackinwood. I'm also the president of the Lower Merion School District Committee for Special Education, which is a parent volunteer advocacy group here. And I'm speaking today without a prepared speech, and I'm a little uncomfortable, so bear with me. But I was here last month for the board meeting with the topic of football, and I found myself sitting in the audience with a really strange emotion, and it was one of jealousy. I've been talking to school administration, leadership, board, community awareness also, lots of community people for CSC's been advocating for years now for more opportunities for students with disabilities to participate in sports and clubs and have that feeling of belonging and have that feeling of belonging to a team specifically. To the point where I'm truly tired of hearing my own voice about it. Dr. Rowley, I know that you and I communicated via email a little bit over this, and I look forward to continuing the conversation with you, with CSC's executive officers as well. And I know that some board meetings, we've talked about it in passing with board members, board directors. And I just wanted the community to be aware as well, because I was so proud of the community engagement last month, and so proud of the football community and the students themselves, and watched those who were not directly involved in football rally around the students, and a specific family as well who found belonging in a unique way through football. And I was just kind of overwhelmed with the support, and if you were here in person last month, the room was electrified with support of the student engagement. It was really a wonderful thing to see. There was one student who spoke who got really quite a lot of support around them in finding their belonging. And special education students here at Lower Merion School District represent 21% of the student body. So we're talking about hundreds of students who are looking for the same opportunities to feel belonging and part of a team. So I hope that we can move forward with it. I'm jealous of the process is really what it comes down to, and I hope that we can get some answers as quickly as the football community did, and as quickly as the plan is for Arnold Field, as you mentioned, to be discussed again in February. And I hope that our students with disabilities can also get some answers and we can move forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Rob Zellinger, Missy Pennington, Matea Mystery, and then Ruth Jenkins.
Hello, my name is Rob Zellinger. I live here in Wynwood. I am the parent of a Lower Merion alum and a parent of a current Lower Merion senior who's on the lacrosse team and will be playing in college representing Lower Merion afterwards. Two things, because a lot has already been said about lights on Arnold Field. For many years, I was on the board here for Lower Merion Township Youth Lacrosse for the boys. And one of those jobs is to make sure that we have places to practice and places to play. And as you can imagine, between everything that Coach Mandarino just said about managing high school playing time, same thing happens with our youth. We don't have a team in Harridan, we don't have a team at Lower Merion, we don't have a team at BC, we don't have a team at Wells Valley, we don't have young kids learning the sport earlier, and it is almost impossible to find fields in Lower Merion. And if we have a spring like we did last year with a lot of rain, we don't practice at all. We've had years where we had our first game where the kids haven't even played with each other yet, well, other than maybe like in a parking lot. Lights on the field and additional turf would go miles in terms of just helping them get a better experience and hopefully be more competitive when they get to that level. And like on a personal, like emotional note, I mean, it breaks my heart that my son's going to graduate here and have never played a home game in front of his peers and family and friends. I just miss a lot of work. I'm lucky because I can afford to miss a lot of work because I've got a flexible schedule. But a lot of people can't. And you want to be able to see your kids, and night games will allow us to do that. I grew up in the Central League, not Lower Merion, but I grew up in the Central League. I still remember Friday night football games. I still remember Friday night lacrosse games. And we should allow our students to have those same kind of lifelong memories. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Missy Pennington. I represent the Lower Merion Boys Lacrosse Boosters Club. Oh, I live in Ballackinwood. I have a son who's a senior and plays lacrosse for Lower Merion. I didn't realize I was signing up for the speaking list, so I don't really have anything specific to say. But I do want to reiterate what others have said about the difficulty of getting to the games. You know, I work full-time, and I make it a priority to get to the games, but that means taking leave when I wouldn't normally have to, and it's really difficult to get to the games. And one other thing, you know, with the new school start times and the lack of light for practice in the evenings, having the lights would just really give us a much better opportunity to practice effectively. And the more times our kids are on the field with an opportunity to practice, the less times they're on their phones. And I think that should be a priority for all of us.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Matai Mystery. I'm from Gladwin. I'm a junior at Harriton High School and I play football. I began playing football my freshman year and had the opportunity to play on the varsity field immediately. I want to make clear that I am very grateful for that opportunity. However, I was physically outmatched due to a lack of proper lifting and training, and there is no consistent, following that year, there is no consistent after-school lifting or off-season program available until March. During my sophomore year, I started on both sides of the ball. I gained nearly 30 pounds and transitioned to an starting offensive and defensive lineman, despite having never played offensive line. Even then, we still had very limited time in the gym. That season, 5 of our linemen were injured. Because of our small roster, many players, including myself, were required to play both ways. I personally dealt with 3 hamstring pulls before and during camp, and my knees were consistently in poor condition throughout the seasoning. Going into this season, I felt much better physically and had focused on improving the health of my knees. This wasn't because the lifting program at Harriton had gotten better. This was because decisions my dad and I had made for me to lift away from the team. My dad also took his own time and resources to help the team out and by paying for speed and agility. That is meant with no ill will. But with the combined program, our booster club would have more money to where it isn't coming directly out of the pockets of parents. Unfortunately, in the first game of the season, I was rolled up on and sprained my MCL. While it was manageable at first, as the season progressed and wear and tear accumulated, as it does for everyone, my body deteriorated more rapidly. In our game against LM, on the very first play, I sprained my LCL in my other knee. This injury significantly limited me, but I felt a responsibility to push through for my team. I was taped up and continued playing, though I missed the following game because I could barely walk. For the remainder of the season, I was considered week to week. No offense to my backup, Alam, but he was a freshman and had never played football prior to this year. While I believe I helped him significantly, he was not ready to play on a varsity field. By our final game, I was so hobbled that I wasn't even practicing. On the very first play of that game, I attempted to jump over a player on the ground to make a tackle and was injured again. Despite this, I still was the best option as a left tackle and continued to play. Because of my inability to move, I missed an assignment and got our starting QB, Josh Fishbein, concussed. Josh, like several others, had not played football prior to this year. These issues are not isolated incidents. They are symptoms of a larger problem. If Harriton were to merge with LM, many of these concerns would be significantly reduced. A merger would allow us to establish a stronger and healthier football culture where freshmen are not rushed onto varsity fields or relied upon as primary backups. It would reduce the need for for players to play both ways, ensure that only the most prepared athletes compete at the varsity level, and enable the implementation of a proper after-school lifting program and off-season training program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ruth Jenkins, then Andrew Bees, and Nikki Albano.
I'm Ruth Jenkins, and I'm from Wynwood. I have a few different things to talk about. Hanukkah is a holiday that is one of rededication, and we need to rededicate ourselves to communication and understanding. What might be a petty comment and is ignored and swept under the rug, we're not fixing anything, just perpetrating or perpetuating prejudice and myths. And I think it's important for us to pay attention to the core values that we're working on, that they can't just be statements, but they have to be actions. As far as the high school is concerned, I may not look like an athlete, but I am. I've been a tennis player for 50 years, and I'm still playing. And I know how important it is when you have a passion for something that you need to be able to fulfill it and meet with your teammates. There's no reason why the two schools can't be merged, where Harriton already has portable lights, and the lights can be used at both schools. And as far as the late bus is concerned, coming from Harriton back here into Lower Merion, that's where the money should be going, so that you're allowing students who live in this area and whose parents work and can't get their students back from Harriton. That's where the bus money should be dealt with, rather than lights on the field. The other thing is the full-day kindergarten. We have tired children. We worked on full-day kindergarten to work on the achievement gap. How are tired preschoolers and early schoolers functioning and benefiting if they are tired? Thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew Bees, and then Nikki Albano.
Andrew Bees, 345 Worcester. I'm actually Ruth's neighbor. Before I start, Jason, I sit on the property committee at my church. All that stuff is awesome. Wynwood. Jason, I sit on the property committee for Bryn Mawr Press. It's exciting stuff talking about that. So don't doubt yourself. I don't want to come up here and, well, I can't follow the first gentleman who spoke. His passion about the lights is undeniable. There's nothing worse than be sitting in these type of committees and hearing the same comments over and over. Just understand that he does reflect a lot of what we say. What I will speak to is the sense of community that local sports brings. I grew up in the Midwest. Every fall, from 4th grade on, I looked forward to getting that fall sports pass. That meant I could go be with my friends, go watch the soccer teams play, boys and girls, go watch the football teams, go watch the track meets. It was a sense of freedom for me to go support my older siblings, to be with my friends in a fun, safe, supervised environment. I wasn't hanging out at Wawa. I wasn't screwing around at Suburban Square. It was a place where my parents knew where I were, and they knew other parents knew, oh, that's the Bees boy. Kept an eye on us. That sense of community and responsibility was huge. Evening sporting events is an opportunity for parents of students, parents of alumni, and just local community members to be together. It's an inexpensive, socially safe, great way for all of us to join together with a common goal, to win a game, to have fun. Taking that away from us is preventing the pride, is preventing the tradition that you spoke of. You can't use pride and tradition in certain spots and walk away from it in others. I do understand, and I commend you all, the fine line you guys walk with financing education and sports. I clearly see that you have the pride of our education, and it is the right thing. I go to these other schools that have phenomenal stadiums. I'm jealous, but I do know those kids are sitting in classrooms with 40 or 50 kids. But the money's here. The approvals are here. We've done everything else right. Let's finish doing the right things right. I'll conclude with this one statement. I do sales. Specifically, I do commercial air conditioning. I'm at every one of my kids' games. When my boss comes to me and goes, hey, Andy, do you want to go into management? Hey, do you want to do this? I say, no. They go, why? I go, because I want to be there for my kid. And I know not every parent has the ability to be proud of their student on the field, doing what they love, doing what they've dedicated hundreds of hours to, and doing something that they're proud of day in and day out. So I ask you this. Don't wait till February. Get it done in January.
Thank you so much.
Nikki Albano, and then Raul Mystery.
Should I wait?
Thank you.
Hi, Nikki Albano Robinson, Wynwood, PA. I've got 3 kiddos in the district, and I'm here to talk about the lights at Arnold Field. I didn't think I was going to talk about football, but I am. So my son Liam, who's now a junior, did play his freshman year, and he played O-line and D-line, and he got concussed because of so many hits playing both sides. And so never played again, decided instead to commit fully to Coach Mando and be a goalie. So I'm not sure if that was the right safe decision, but here we are. So it's a real thing, it's a real life thing. So I'd love the board to reconsider all of that. So I echo all of the wonderful, eloquent sentiments that have already been established. I'm going to take a slightly different view. So I work at a major university down the street, down Lancaster Ave, and so I'm in higher ed. And part of our job here is to prepare all of our students for what they're going to do next, right? It says go forth and serve. So it doesn't end here. And I'm sure, Dr. Ranelli, one of the things that drew you to the school district is how exemplary and how much Lower Merion differentiates itself from other school districts, right? It was probably a good thing that it's such a smart district, right? I'm sure that didn't turn you off. It probably turned you on, right? And so we're really, really good at differentiating ourselves. And a hot topic in higher ed with all the pass-fail and standardization and common application, how can students differentiate themselves? We're strong academically. and we all benefit from that. We have great arts. We have, I think, like a nationally ranked robotics club, all of those things, right? But some kids are going to have to lean into athletics to differentiate themselves. And the one way Lower Merion differentiates themselves currently is being one of, like, for such a prolific district, we had a team, I overheard another team saying, I thought this was the rich district, looking at our complex and looking at our fields, right? And the boys heard that. And our most well-attended game for the lacrosse team last year was at Harriton at night under the lights. And people actually said, it feels like Texas football at night. So we talk about culture, but currently there's like a major lack of culture because there's 10 of us, there's 15 of us at games. So when you're thinking about a well-rounded place that's going to set kids up to competitively apply to colleges, which is also our job, I'd just like to ask you to think about kind of the whole picture. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a student, Elon Deckel, and then we have Mr. Mistry, and then Mr. Gambino.
Who's up now?
Student should go first. Elam?
Hello, my name is Elam Deckel, and I live in Belmont Hills. So, as my teammate Matai already spoke earlier, that he was injured, and even though he was injured, I am very inexperienced and did not play. What he did not talk about is I was also injured. I was dealing with my own LCL injury, and because of that, we had very little subs. We had, in our offensive tackle position group, we had four total people throughout the season. Me, Matai, a senior, and one other. And there were 2 offensive tackles on the field at any given time, which means we only had 2 subs. If we had 2 injuries out of that, we wouldn't have any. If we had a merge, we'd have more people, and also we'd have more time to work, because in JV games, we consistently have 12 people on the field because we'd have no time to practice, too many linebackers, not enough linemen. Merging would give us more practice time, more practice coaches for JV players to properly develop and not be rushed onto the field. We don't have enough time to develop and learn. So merging would help all those, would help us with more resources, more coaches, more experience, and we should be safer with more depth, and people would not have to play every single snap, even when they're injured. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rahul Mistry, Gladwin. I'm a representative for the Lower Merion and Harriton parents and boosters. This is my 3rd time speaking for the last 3 meetings. I am asking the board to bring this to an agenda, the football merger, as an agenda item in the next meeting in January. Please put it on there. We've been having this conversation since the beginning of the summer. The petition now has 330 signatures on it. That petition was very specific. It was for safety and development, 2 things that were never uttered by the board. Nothing in the recommendation. Those 2 major issues were never discussed. As I said, we've been waiting for 6 months to try to get some information and some correspondence. We tried to speak with both principals, both ADs, and the coaches, and no one will meet with us. No one will say anything on the record. Right? Dr. Ranelli did take it up. That was a one-way communication. I sent over a lot of information. He came back with a recommendation, and you said you need to learn about the culture and all this. No one's talking to us. We're here. You know, we keep talking, keep representing ourselves, but no one really wants to listen or engage in a real conversation. So there is still time to do this. I heard it's self-inflicted at 18 months, we're getting a moratorium. That's not true. PIAA, we spoke to District 1 director today. He said, you can still do this. Get your board to vote on it. There's still a couple months open. If you vote in January, we can get it done. So I urge you, what are you going to do in the next 18 months? Let's get this thing done. Let's at least vote on it. If you vote no, it's over. But if you vote yes, we can move forward. A couple assertions and claims made in last month's recommendation to not merge the teams. I'm going to take these one by one. Quote, this is more of a Harriton problem than an LM problem. I disagree. Last time we saw 12 LM players here, which is over a third of the team. I think the petition itself was started by LM. They're the ones who were pushing this. Harriton joined in later. Elm also didn't field a team in JV or freshman. Second claim, I don't feel it's Elm's responsibility to give up their team identity and playoff chances to merge with Harrington. Once again, a quote, the LM-Radnor rivalry started in 1897, 60 years before Harrington ever existed. We're just going back to what it was. Spirit Week won't end. Those rivalries will continue to exist. Claim number 3, quote, the elimination from playoff contention for all players is a major consideration against merging the teams. PIA playoff started in 1988. Lower Merion's made that playoff 0 times. Harrington has made that playoffs 0 times. This is more of a hypothetical. We've never made the playoffs. It's never happened. Not in football. Claim 4, all the surveys indicate a strong preference for each school to maintain their own football program or a football team that is their own school. Almost 95% of the ALM players rate having their own sport team important. Their own was never put into this. The question read, how important is it to you that Lower Merion High School maintain a tackle football program? We had students, we had parents, everyone stated that this was not a true statement. They took it as, do we want tackle football? 95% of football players did not say that. We had a third of them here. Please take it into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Gambino?
Jeff Gambino, Narberth. I have 3 kids in the district. 1 kid is a Harrington football player. I've been more ambivalent about the merger than some, which I know is weird if I've been here twice now on a Monday night. But one of the key reasons was when Ben was in 8th grade, we were in the school choice zone, so we got a chance to talk to both football coaches about the program, got to know them, really liked them. And so I didn't want a merger because there would be a human cost of saying to someone, maybe they don't lose their job, but somebody would no longer be head coach. Well, with the resignation of Mr. Datillo, the Harrington football coach, now we don't have that human cost, right? And what I am concerned about is that we will go through a process, hire someone, a good person, and then 12 months from now, we'll either have a really difficult conversation or we'll say, well, we can't do it because we hired someone. And that feels like a catch-22 here. We have a really unique opportunity. I really liked Mr. Datillo, so I'm going to miss him. But now that he's gone, we don't have to have that sort of human challenge there of turning someone down. Then the other thing is, I feel this is just not a big enough deal to, wait. I lightly supported school start changes, but that was a big change. And you all pushed it through, and there were a lot of people against it. And, looking at the numbers that Dr. Ranelli presented, I don't think we got very much from it. I would argue maybe it didn't work when I look at those numbers. It didn't improve, satisfaction from the kids. Now, I would say that problems with surveys, I think if you ask a kid if they're tired, they're always going to say yes, no matter what you ask them. But, I didn't see anything amazing there. So we could merge the teams, and, if a year later we're like, that wasn't so great, we can unwind that. We can't unwind student start times. That's set. And, all things considered, it's fine. But we didn't really get very much for a lot of stuff there. I would just have liked us to try this. Make the change, vote on it in January, and give it a shot. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes the in-person. I don't know if Ms. Buckman has any.
Thank you very much. So in-person's concluded. We don't have any community comments. With the glitch in the system, we understand. So thank you. Mr. Ruse, at this time, will you move forward with tonight? We want to move forward with tonight's agenda. Sorry if my document got a little glitchy in that past. Can you? Sorry. Retirement? Yeah, go ahead. Okay. I feel like I'm missing something. On behalf of the Board of School Directors, I would like to acknowledge the following items from the evening's agenda. Number 1, 8A, retirements. Tom O'Brien, the IB coordinator at Harrington High School, and Marcia Rosen, the school counselor at Lower Merion High School. We'd all like to give them a big round of applause and thank them for the work and the leadership. We did this really right. Okay. so now moving on with the rest of the agenda, is there a motion to approve the remaining items listed on tonight's agenda via consent?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I just had one point of clarification that just wanted to note that there was a brief spelling error in the policy that we're talking about in adoption and summer programs, and so I just wanted to ask that we go forward approving the agenda as is, understanding that we will update the spelling on that mistake.
It's Megan out there somewhere nodding. Great, I can see you. Sorry, you're behind Vic. Wonderful. That will be amended. So without any further agenda items, discussion, anyone? No takers? Okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Sunshine Act. Mr. Ruse, will you now make any announcements required by the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act?
There were no executive sessions prior to this meeting or since the last board meeting.
Okay, so a couple things really quickly. The next meetings coming up. January 26th is the regular business board meeting. It has been moved due to the MLK holiday on January 19th. So the regular business board meeting will be held on January 26th. Committee meetings will be held in the boardroom or via webinar and live streamed unless otherwise noted. But I just also want to note that one of the other things that we have heard in the past couple years is that having evening meetings are more accessible to more community members. So we're trying to do a balance where some are daytime because they're more accessible to the outsiders in the district team and the entire team of the board, and nighttime meetings. So January 12th, the curriculum meeting will be at night and will begin at 6 p.m. It will be live streamed as long as the equipment works, and it'll run till 7:20 p.m. So it has a hard stop. And then it will be followed by the policy meeting. So the policy meeting will now be at night and will begin at 7:30 p.m. and have a hard stop at 9 p.m. So moving that to an evening, hopefully it makes it more accessible, either in person or online. And then finally, the next meeting after that will be January 22nd, the facilities and purchasing, which is at 9 a.m. due to the entire team of the administration being there. And it is also via Zoom. So thank you all very much. I hope we're moving forward in progress. And thank you all for all the comments tonight. We are adjourned, being there's no more business of the board. Thank you.